Hello and welcome to another Green Thumb program. My name is John Schaefer and I'm with the Harris County Public Library, and we produce the Green Thumb Show in conjunction with the Harris County Master Gardeners. But our show is available for anyone who finds us. Everyone is welcome, and a great place to find us is in the Harris County Public Library website at hcpl.net. That's because we have a companion blog to this show written by HCPL's own Steve Bearfield. He's a Master Gardener as well. And thanks to him. And you definitely want to check that out on hcpl.net. We're so glad to have you there. And we are here online the third Tuesday of every month at 11 a.m. That, of course, is right now. Today's topic is cover crops and living mulches, how low maintenance ground covers will save on next season's fertilizer needs and help manage pest better. Before I introduce our presenter, I'd like to say a couple of things. One, we love questions. So please type them into the chat or on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching this. We have Master Gardeners monitoring the chat, so you will get an answer to your to any question you might have in live time. And also, if you are watching a recording of this, just go ahead and send your questions to the Master Gardeners. They love questions as well, and we'll get back to you right away. And second, our show will be on our next show will be on Tuesday. And that will be on July 15th. And that will be for fall vegetable gardening. Hard to think about fall right now, but you know what? We got to prepare for fall now. And you can prepare your garden and discover vegetables that are best to grow in the fall season. So now I'm very excited to introduce our presenter today, Chevy Tang. Although Chevy is an educator, a master gardener vegetable specialist, a master naturalist in Texas, water specialist, certified permaculture teacher, she loves to grow food for wellness in her backyard forest, water, and soil. So a very someone with a lot of experience who I cannot wait to hear from. Hello, Chevy. How are you today?
Good morning. Well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing well. It's so good to have you here. Tell you what, I'm going to go ahead, since we got a lot to cover. I'm going to say, let's get this show started. Why don't you go ahead and start your presentation? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning, y'all. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're going to share on how to build resilience and sustainability, how to care for your gardens in our Houston weather. So let's look into, whether you're growing on a balcony, in a raised bed, or even in a community garden, you probably noticed how quickly our soils dried out. The clay soil that we have here gets pretty compact. And then the weeds starts growing pretty quickly, taking over any bad spot. Now, urban gardening is rewarding, but it's also tough on the soil. So that's where cover crops and living mulch come in. We could use simple plant-based tools that are often overlooked, that work with nature. So ground covers and seasonal soil builders that cool the soil, adding organic matter helps to protect against erosion and even attract pollinators and beneficial insects. So the best part of it is that cover crops is not only for agriculture and farm use, but we can use in our urban gardens here. So let's unravel the mystery of cover crops and living mulch. So we'll be covering topics on why soil health matters, the benefits that we will get for using cover crops and living mulches. We are also going to discuss about the different kinds of living mulch, what's our favorite, the applications, and tips on management. So here we have the soil food web. And as you can see, there is a huge community in the soil health, not only above the soil line, but also in the soil. Sorry about that. So let's look at even the insects, the nematodes, the arthropods. And sometimes we are looking at the insects and thinking that, oh, this is a pest, we have to deal with it. And here we come killing this, terminating these insects. But did you know in this nature life cycle, these arthropods insects are actually food for the birds? By removing this, the birds has nothing much to eat, and that will interfere with the number of population for the birds. So we need to think about that as well. The soil biology. Now we're interested in looking at three elements: carbon, nitrogen, and phosphorus. Carbon is really important. Carbon is the main ingredient in our body, in the soil, in the air. So as you know, for climate change, we talk about carbon sequestration. So here is a diagram showing the interrelation between, even right down to the microbes. The soil microbes and the cellular structures are all related with the CNP. And in fact, looking at this diagram, you can see that a health and the resilience of an ecosystem is based on these three elements and also the microbes. So the first thing to do is to do a soil test. We need to know what are the nutrients you have in your soil before we even dealt with or even adding amendments to your soil. So here is a sample of a soil test application form. You can download it from our Texas A&M extension. The link is shown on the slide. And you pay a fee of $12 to do a basic test. And on this test, it will show the analysis of the elements, as you can see in this slide. It shows basic elements like the nitrate, phosphorus, potassium. This information is important, so you don't need to add something else which is not needed for your soil. And also on this, there are recommendations on what you need to add to the soil. Great information. Now let's look into the terminology. Cover crop are plants that are grown for the benefit of the soil. The living mulches, the natural ground cover for including plants, live plants that serve the purpose of a mulch. Now the green manure is grown to help maintain the soil organic matter, which we call it the SOM. And then the biomass is the weight or total amount of organic matter that is loaded onto wherever you are using it, on the garden bed or even on the soil. So the benefits of cover cropping is many. First thing is that it helps to suppress weeds, helps to reduce erosion, improve your soil compaction, helps to decrease nutrient loss, even adding organic matter to the soil, increasing soil aggregation, and also enhancing the mycorrhizae, the microbes in the soil. And most of all, is even capable to add nitrogen in it. So Looking at this slide is a picture of a sun ham. It's a legume. As you know, the legume family of plants are capable to provide nitrogen to the soil, not in the form of nitrogen gas, but in the form of nitrate. Now, the plant roots are capable to convert using the carbon and the nutrients. They're able to convert the nitrogen gas from the air to sugar. And with the sugar releasing into the soil, the microbes use this sugar for food. And the legume family also help with pollinators. So there are many beneficial supports available by planting legumes. So some of the legume plants are the true clovers, the sweet clovers, the vetches, peas, beans, the sunham, and lentils. And for the non-legumes, we'll have the cereals, so like barley and oats, grasses, the ryegrass, even pole millets. In the warm season, we could plant Sudan grass, brassicas, and mustards. Now they are all capable to scavenge for nitrogen, even nitrogen that's left over from the previous crops or the plants. So it's great to plant this to increase the organic matter in the soil. Now this is a chart for cover crop comparison looking at buckwheat. Now buckwheat has a moderate growth, but it has a good drought tolerance and doesn't do much on soil improvement compared to cowpeas or Sudan grass. Even the sunham has a great biomass as well. So the choice of a cover crop depends on the season, where you are also matters. As you know, we are in zone 9. So that would determine the choice that you will have to make. So implementing cover crops in your garden, this is just a suggestion of a quick routine. So the timing for now, for example, we are going to plant our summer crops. And we will do that after your spring vegetables are harvested. In fact, in June, you should have already been harvesting your spring vegetables. And then we will be seeding. So we'll be seeding the cover crop seeds, lightly raking them onto the soil. And with that, they will grow and you would water them as needed. Now for the maintenance during dry spells, there's some period of time when it's really high humidity and hot. You still need to water them, and it would help. Before the cover crops goes into flowering or into seed, we have to cut them out. We can leave them onto the soil to decompose to become green manure. So over time, when this become organic matter and decomposition, we just till it back into the soil. Then when the next season comes, when fall comes, we'll think about what we're going to grow for winter, and we'll start our preparing for our winter cover crops as well. So this is a picture of a daikon and turnips. Now they are great nitrogen scavengers and also a great biomass. So we plant them, they have a deep tap root. So they will grow into a soil, especially if you have a compact soil. These are great to release the soil structure and build them up. So leaving them in place, as you can see in the picture, and just letting them decompose. A picture of a cover crop mix that's including grasses in a field. This is at Almeida Road Nature Preserved, and they use these cover crops to enrich the soil. So on this land, the soil are pretty compact. So they've used turnips, as you can see in the previous picture, the turnips and the radish as well to help with the biomass in this field. Now the grasses, they have to terminate them before the seeds are matured. So for grasses, you could see this green seed head, and you have to cut them off before they mature because you don't want to deal with even more grasses. So let's talk about green manure. So in this picture, you see decomposes. Now these are mushrooms. Mushrooms that after a rain, you see them popping up. Now these are fruiting bodies of hyphae, hyphae meaning the mycorrhizae that's in the soil. So the very sight of a mushroom indicates that you have a healthy ecosystem in the soil. The soil microbes that are working in the soil is something you would like to have. The fallen logs, as you can see here with the turkey tail mushroom in the bottom right picture, those are great mushrooms to use for health benefits as well. They're not edible, but they're great for making tinctures. Let them be, and they will decompose. Another great material or metal is this grass clippings. You've seen bags of long clippings that we back them up and we just dispose them away when garbage picked up days. Don't do that. Let's use them up. Those grass clippings are great for vegetable beds or even in your garden beds. Using them as green manure helps to provide nitrogen in your soil. The term chop and drop is pretty much as it says, chopping the leaves and dropping it onto the soil. These are two plants, plantain and comfrey. They're great components to use for the soil. And in fact, all annual plants, when the season's over, you can just chop them off and lay them onto the soil. And they will decompose over time. Now, how long does it take for the nitrogen to be made available for the plants? It will take about 4 to 6 weeks. And even leaves that you collect from trees, any of the dry matters that you leave on the bed to decompose would take about the same amount of time.
Hey Chevy, let me interrupt you there real quick if you don't mind. We've had a few questions coming in. Loving it so far. If you don't mind, the question came in from Terry. She wants to know where do you buy the seeds for cover crops?
Well, I was going to cover a slide further down about how to shop for seeds.
Okay, so we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Oh, we have some other questions too. The question was, are there specific plants that are best for different seasons?
Yes. Different seasons we will use, like we'll talk about, say the fall is coming, right? So we should have already prepared for the cover crops for the fall. So for now, for example, if I were to plant for the fall season, I'm thinking of brassicas like broccoli, cauliflowers, and other vegetables like kale. And well, before that happens, we're gonna plant a cover crop. So what cover crop can we use for the summer? Sunham is a great one to use, as well as any kind of veg. And in fact, if you like to harvest something to eat and as well as dual function, providing a cover crop. A good one will be the southern peas, and
Okay.
that's so awesome to use that.
That kind of leads into the next question was when is the best month to start planting cover crops seeds for winter, which I guess would be now or as recently. So got to get on it.
Yes, now would be a good time before our weather is going to get even hotter, right? So this is the best time to plant it.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you know if you have any more questions as we go. I'll let you get back to it.
Thank you. So now we're looking at mulching with branches and leaves. So even those little twigs that you cut away when you trim a tree or even a shrub or a bush. So this anything that is smaller than 2 inch, we call it a ramia. A ramia wood is perfect for compost, perfect for using as a green manure. So you can easily bundle them together to make a bundle, and you could even lay it as a design along your raised beds or even leaving it as a pile. Now this is important, especially during the winter months. It would be a great space for the wildlife, and they use that as a cover and as well as a habitat for insects, and even birds love foraging in this pile of dry shrubs because they know that there's food in there. Now looking at the leaves, so the way if you have a lot of dry leaves, now be mindful that the leaves are not diseased leaves because you don't want to spread diseased leaves onto your soil. So a clean, dry leaves or even wet leaves, it's all right to leave that on top of your soil in your bed. You can mix it with any kind of greens or annual plants. So the best mixture to do will be to have the wooden sticks at the bottom and then layering them with leaves. But be mindful that you want air into this combination as well. So in a few days, you would like to turn them over so that they would have air into it. Now, this would help to decompose even faster. Another term is hugelkultur. Now, hugelkultur is when you have big logs that you don't have a place to get rid of them, or you have plenty of them and branches, you could bury them in and make that into a layer of soil. And over time, they become really great compost. There are a lot of information on our website, on the Harris County Master Gardener's website about this as well. So please check it out.
We'll definitely post a link to that. But man, we are getting so many questions, Chevy. This is great. I'll see if we can run through some of these real quick. Can you plant edibles as crop covers, such as peanuts? I know you mentioned broccoli earlier.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. Peanuts is a great nitrogen fixer. And well, the thing about peanuts, planting them is also an invitation to squirrels. So squirrels will be coming to scavenge that. But guess what? Even with squirrels, they eat them, but they also plant more. So when next season come, excuse me, next season come and you see, oh my gosh, you'll be popping on your lawn peanut plant, but you can literally move them into the bed, move them into areas that you need them.
Squirrels, the best tree planters on the planet.
Mhm.
I'll give one more question here. Can pine bark nuggets be used to mulch raised beds?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good.
Definitely. But the thing about pine bark, they are, people used to say, a lot of people are saying that pine bark is acidic, but it's wood. Yes, all wood chips that we use actually absorb the nitrogen from the soil. So
Okay.
how much does it absorb depends on what you use, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And one last question, because we've gotten so many coming here. I'll save some more of these for a little later. Did you leave the daikon and turnip in the soil to decompose?
Yes,
Okay.
that is the thing about daikon and turnip is that they have this biotoxic chemical, not toxic for humans,
Right.
but they help to break down some chemicals in the soil. So they release chemical into the soil to interact, and that helps to build the soil structure. You don't
Perfect.
eat them, but I mean they're good to eat too. But yeah.
All right. Well, I'll come back. I'll interrupt you again in a few minutes, I'm sure.
All right. So just a reminder: no disease or infected wood. So now we're going to the benefits of living mulch. Now there are many benefits. There are soil fertility and structure, moisture retention, helps with erosion, and it protects the soil from extreme weather, helps with weed suppression, pest suppression, and it also attracts beneficial insects and help to build macroorganisms as well as microorganisms like the fungi. So I think the best part of this is that you don't have to spend a lot of time on this and it saves you money. So why not? So Texas blue bonnet is one of the great plant to plant. It's an annual. So the bloom time is February to May. So the time to plant this will be in October. Why? Because the seeds need stratification. It has a tough coat, so it needs the cold weather and the long period of exposure to thin out the coat for it to germinate. So when here comes February, even late January, you will see them sprouting. It's a great nitrogen fixer, pollinator plant. As you can see in the picture, is also a host plant for a gray hair-streaked butterfly. As the question asks, so this is a picture of a peanut plant. It's a low cover plant because it will grow vertically to about 10-inch or even up to 12-inch. But once it start blooming flowers, as you can see the yellow blooms, once they are pollinated, they will tilt down and touch the soil. And when they do that, the peanut will grow. Where's the peanut in the picture? You see it? So the harvest time is 120 days from planting. But yes, you still can harvest even within this period. And by just lifting up one of those branches and lifting up to see if the peanut is ready, pretty much easy things to do. So about watering, doesn't need much watering as well, but you can tell when the plant is drooping, it means that it's time to water. Slender veg, this comes with the season. You will find this in fact growing on your lawn everywhere. It comes with the birds pooping, and it comes with the wind, the seed. So know that this is called slender veg. Don't pull it out. Let it be. As you can see in the picture, there's a pea growing on they just kind of grow along the stem. The flowers are pinkish purple color, so they belong to the pea family. The pollinators love it. So during this season, look out for them. They do well in containers too. So having them, planting them in a container will provide nitrogen. There are also other kind of veggies that you can get seeds from and buy them. Another great plant, purslane. Now, common purslane at this time, our season, you'll see lots of them growing along the sidewalks, in between, as you can see, in between the stone path. They will just pop in there. They do very well in any kind of soil, meaning like even if you have some sandy, dry soil, they will still grow well. And they are actually beneficial for your vegetables like beans, peppers, sorry about that, squash, tomatoes, flowers, and even herbs. The only plants that they don't get along with are the brassicas and strawberries. They're high in omega 3s and loaded with antioxidant. They kind of taste a little tart, but they're great to be added onto a salad. The other poison look-alike would be spurge. Now you can tell the difference because in the picture, spurge has kind of hairy, upright, thin stems. And when you break them up, you will see some kind of milk sap. Purslane doesn't have any milk sap. So that's the difference. And plus, purslane has yellow flowers. Now, the common sunflower is also another great plant. It does a great job with bioaccumulator, meaning like it accumulates nutrients from the soil and bring it up to share with the plants around it. Now, they are not great to be planted with potatoes or green beans or cucumbers, strawberries, and definitely no legume family. They are annual, so they will grow all the way until the cold season comes. But the leaves and the stems, they are really great for making compost and even for um, adding on to a bed. You can kind of chop them into pieces. So there are many benefits to the sunflower. Besides using for food, they are also used for medicine. Wildlife just love them. Now the bloom time is from May to October, and yes, sunflower can grow as tall as 10 foot.
Had a question come in, Chev, if you don't mind, real quick. Are all cover crops edible?
Not all are edible.
Not all of them, just some, most of them. And another question we had, real quick, so I don't forget this one. I want to. Why do you need to inoculate seeds before planting them?
Depending, especially we inoculate seeds that are legume family. The reason being is that the way the nitrogen fixing work is basing on bacteria. So they need nitrogen and bacteria to make the process of nitrogen fixation. So
Okay.
by all of us have different bioclimates.
Mhm.
So the soil that I have may have less bacteria than the soil you have.
Right.
So when I plant my peas, for example, I want them to do their best, right? So
Mhm.
to help them, I would inoculate the seeds, or even if you're planting them with inoculants to help them to speed up, and also adding the right bacteria in the soil will help your growth over time. So it's just like a tip
That
using
makes
it.
sense. Yeah,
Mhm.
I got it. And one other last little question, real quick. Is horseherb a cover crop?
Why not? You can use it.
Why not?
It spreads very easily. Be mindful of that. Very hard to get rid of. They always come back. But if you have a space or a bare soil, why not have that? And find out, read more about how to use horse herb. Actually, it's a great medicinal plant. It makes great tea as well. There are many uses for that plant.
I had no idea you could make a tea. Well,
Mhm.
we'll get more. I'll let you get back to it, and we'll get more as we go.
Okay, so one more tip about sunflower. The sunflower, we use it for phytoremediation as well. What is phytoremediation? Is a treatment to get rid of contaminants in the soil. So sunflower is great in removing heavy metals like lead and um, arsenic as well. So pretty good plant. Now, how to begin? What is your goal? Goal meaning like, what do you intend to use the cover crop for? Is it for food, or is it just adding to your pollinator garden, gonna enrich your soil? Are you interested in getting more birds or insects, or is it for flowers? So consider the climate, meaning the seasons. Which season, as we talked previously, right now we're going into right almost into to hot summer. So think about that. For the other seasons, you have to look into your first and last frost date, the microclimate you're in. Where is your garden position? Is it in the sun or is it in the shade? What kind of drainage do you have? Is it areas with filled with water when it rains, or is that a high area compact soil? So these are things that you have to consider. Think about the wind as well. The wind plays a major part as well. Cropping system, the type of cover crops. Are you going to use it for green mulch, or you intend to use living mulch? Then the next step will be seeding. The kind of seeds, where we're going to get them, matters as well. Then the planning. What is your next season crop? What are you growing? Winter crops or summer crops? It's really back to your planning, right? Include biodiversity planting as well. Know that each plant, each cover crops contribute different nutrients to your soil. So having a biodiversity, having many different plants helps to build the soil. Know when to terminate, mark your calendar, and of course we need to maintain them, right? So let's look into the applications here. Now this is a picture of a home backyard. On this, as you see here, there are San Augustine grass growing. The homeowner planted clover, different kind of clover actually, among the grass. This is great because it provides the nitrogen that the grass needs. And in the grass bed, she has mulches, and she used dry leaves onto the soil bed. The pathways are lined with stones, and among the pathways you could easily grow creeping thyme or even purslane. And this is a great feature, leading the eye into places in your garden Think about planting natives as well, or even herbs. Looking at the tree, using different kind of living mulch would also help to feed the tree, provide shelter for wildlife. Many reasons that we could use living mulch. So this is looking into the bed. Here you see a combination of different plants with the peanut. Now the flowers are not in blooming yet, but they will come. Geranium is planted here because it has a scent that defer pests. And kale is my vegetable growing here. And of course, salvia is a great pollinator plant. So this is an example of what we call stacking functions in permaculture. As you know, permaculture is about copying, mimicking nature, which we call biomimicry. So looking at nature and imitating how well nature grows and being resilient. So we copy that system even in our urban homes, in our urban beds. Now let's talk about seeds. Now it's important to choose a reliable, reputable seed company. Growers that uses sustainable practice, it's important to support growers like them. Now make sure the seeds are preferably organic and not coated with neonicotinoids. Now these are the chemical that impact insects, and even insects that has been affected by this and eaten by birds also affect them. So be mindful, and even bees are even affected by this chemical. Now select a seed mix for your purpose. So again, there's a variety of mixes. You can mix it yourself. And inoculants, different kinds of inoculants are available also. In the picture, there are plants like mealy blue sage, which is a great pollinator plant as well, going into seeds. The blue bonnets are drying up, going into seeds. Now you will leave if some of your plants cover crops or living mulch to collect seeds that you could use for the next season. Now the blue bonnet seeds are interesting because they will dry up as a pod, and the moment they dry up, they will twist, they will shape into a little curl. Then you know they are ready to pop, and they will pop in. That's a very intriguing sound when they pop. They just disperse the seeds everywhere, and you want to collect them when they are cold and dry. So let's talk about maintenance. Chop and drop. You cut at the base of the stem, leaving the roots in the soil. Do not yank the whole thing out. Just chopping them at the base and then leaving them on top of the soil. Now it's important to when you water the plants, you also water the pile. I mean, even your dry leaves and your mulch, you want to keep it moist but not soggy. Now you turn it regularly. This will help to introduce air in it, to make it to help with the decomposition. Now, if you're using wood shrub stems, cut them or shred them into smaller bits. That will just speed up the composting. You could mix it with greens, leaves, or grass clippings, and What else? The mulch depth, you could build them up from 2 inch to 4 inch. As you can see in the picture, all kinds of sticks and shrubs are placed. Besides, those are fruit trees. So it's great to build up the mulch even with dry leaves up to about 4 inch. Now again, remove all diseased wood and leaves and try to minimize, preferably no chemicals, and allowing a few of the plants to go to seed. Now, how to leave the leaves. This is a great website that helps telling us how to use the dry leaves, where to use them. If you have a lot of leaves, you can actually pile them up and turn it into a compost pile. So there's some great information on this website. On this slide, you see a cover crop selector. This is a great website by Southern Council Cover Crops. So here you could enter your address. With the address, it tells you the zone you're in and even show you a map of where you are. And once you enter the information, it will take you to this page, and it provides information like the kind of soil composition that's available in your area, and even frost dates, how much rain are you getting. Then you select, if you see on your right hand side, the kind of drainage that is in your garden. So on this selection, it was moderately well drained. And there's also information whether the area where you are prone to flood. So it's a great website. Once you enter this information, it will take you to this calendar which shows from January all the way up to December. And again, there is a choice of questions asking you, what is your purpose? Are you interested in improving soil? So in this selection, I have chosen to improve soil and also the seasons that I am intending to plant. So here, as you can see, in the month of June, a selection of cowpea, and even we could plant southern peas as we talk about for throughout the summer. And then comes winter, will be end of September all the way to December. You could plant clovers. Now, this is just a legume. Well, we also have to think about adding grasses. So the great selection here during the summer will be the sorghum Sudan grass, will be a great selection. And then what else can we plant? As you can see, there's a selection. So go on this website, enter your address, and all this will pop up and help you to make a decision on when and what to plant. Now, if you're doing container gardening, you could also use living mulch. So this is a peanut plant that I've planted together with a fig tree. And on this picture is a Phacelia pea plant that I've planted with my redbud tree, which is still in a container. I'm planning to plant it soon in the fall when it grows a little taller. So living mulch plants are also great pollinators. You can use herbs as well. Planting for wildlife. Now that's important. The picture you see on your right hand side is a bird called indigo bunting. It has declined like about 70%. So it's important to provide a shelter and food for wildlife. Dragonflies, yeah, they're great at um, eating mosquitoes, and even lizards and geckos. These are great insects and friends to have. Now, bees, did you know that there are many varieties of solitary bees? And there are bees that do not make honey, but they are great pollinators. So, where do they find home? Their homes are in the dry stems. So, in this picture, you see my sunflower stems that I've cut in different height from 8 inch right up to even 2 feet. They are varying heights. Elderberry is also another great stems that you can leave behind for the winter for the bees to lay their eggs in them, hibernate in winter, and then come spring, the new bees will emerge. And then this stem stubble will decompose, and you could just put it into your compost pile or leave it on your garden bed. So another great website with information is Gardening for Wildlife with Native Plants. A lot of information is available on this website. Native Plant Society, a great wealth of information on native plants that we could use as living mulches. Wildflower Center in Austin, Lady Bird Johnson, another great website with all kinds of information. As you can see, bluebonnet flowers on the slide. Now, next Master Gardener plant sale is in October, and it's such a great time to have a great selection, to buy a selection of fall perennial and veggie sale. So we have two locations, one at HCC Katy Campus and the other one at Genoa Friendship Garden in the southeast location. Do come and support us. In our Green Thumb series, so our next talk coming up will be on fall vegetable gardening. So Master Gardeners are a nonprofit organization. So we are out to help and educate people with research-based information from Texas A&M AgriLife. So these are like the Green Thumb series. These are free programs that we offer to the public. We do need support to provide programs like this. In the pictures, you see farmers, master gardeners out at farmers market answering questions. And we even have free children activity programs educating the children about gardening as well. So thank you for your support, for supporting Harris County Master Gardeners.
Oh my gosh, Chevy, that's so much, so good, so much great information. Had a couple of quick questions here. Somebody, let me go back to it real quick. I want to make sure I get it right and say who it was. July, want to know on Facebook. She goes, "Will you share this slideshow with us, please?" And a big purple heart. I will say before I'll let you answer that, we do these programs live on YouTube and Facebook, so you can always refer to them again. And of course, the comment sections are going to be there as well. And we've tried to put as many of the links as we can as we go along. But as far as the PDF or the presentation goes, will that be something they can get to down the road, or if there's a way we can have that available?
There's a lot of information on our website.
Okay, yeah, that would probably be the best way to check.
Yeah, the best way to do that. And the library does a great job, even with the blogs. I mean, the references that y'all offered on books, so it's such a great information as well.
Well, I'll tell
And
you what, I mean, the partnership between the Harris County
yes,
Master Gardeners and the Harris County Public Library, it means so much to us. And, we do, there's occasionally going to be in-person programs. I was just at one earlier this week at the Jacinto City branch. There was a container gardening class that was going on. I think it's still going on, actually, if you might want to check with you. So check with your local library all the time.
mhm.
Harris County Library all the time. Also check the Harris County Master Gardener website, which has so much information. You guys, it is an unbelievable organization. Let's see, we had another question come in here. This is from Zion. Hi, I'm a college student doing research, and my mother is a gardener. Thanks for providing us. Well, thank you, Zion, and there you go. Get a nice comment for you there. Chevy. And I want to remind everybody about the plant sale coming up. I put the link in there and in the chat as well. Oh my gosh, Chevy, thank you so much for taking the time to spend with us. I mean, we had so many great questions. You'll have
Isn't
to.
it awesome? I mean, you could be a beginner gardener or even, interest in gardening, but all this support that's available to them, the library and us, isn't it great?
There you go. It is great. And also, speaking of great, I want to thank some of the behind the scenes people. In
Yeah,
addition to you and I, who people see, we have some master gardeners answering questions in the background. Yvonne, Beverly, Steve, Joanne, thank you guys so much.
thank you so much. Yeah.
And with that, I'm going to say we'll see you soon. And I know I'll see you again soon, Chevy. We'll get you in here again. But other than that, we'll join us next month, July 15th, for our next program. We'll see you then, guys.
Thank you, guys. Happy gardening.
Bye-bye.